And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at an expansion for Scythe called Scythe, the Wind Gambit. Now, Scythe is an incredibly popular game, all right? It was a huge Kickstarter success. It's just a really neat game of worker placement, actions, movement, a little bit of combat. There's a lot going on in it. This is the second expansion for the game. The first one added 2 more factions so that you could play with 7 players, something I would not do, but also gave you more choices with factions. This one here adds airships to the game. That's pretty much what it does. It also adds another small module, which I'll talk about, but it adds airships, huge honking miniatures. Well, I don't even know why we're doing this review. If you like Scythe, you already bought this expansion anyway, but let's take a look at what's inside it. Okay, so this is what comes with the game, the pieces that come with it. They come in their own plastic container here, and each piece comes with a stand and a base. So all the ships are the same, and I imagine they would look fantastic painted, but they look really great. So this here is the Black's airship, and each of these, as you can see on this board, they really dominate the hexes. I suppose I don't have the bigger board, but I suppose they're not quite as intimidating on the bigger board than the smaller board. But still, when you put them out there, and you put them next to a mech, the ship is much bigger than the mech. Now, these things are not like big bastions of doom, and this kind of fits with the theme of Scythe anyway, because as cool as this guy looks like he's ready to blow everything up, he goes around and fights in a few battles, but the point of these is not necessarily battles, just like the point of the airship is not battles either, even though it's bristling with guns. How do you put these guys into a game? At the beginning of the game, you're going to draw from these 2 piles, 1 passive ability for airships and 1 aggressive ability for airships. And there's a couple things. First of all, the aggressive one's going to be aggressive and passive. And you can even draw 1 for each player. But the rules, and I recommend against that because it's a lot more information to keep track of. It's kind of cool. I mean, if you want to take a longer game, you could have your own special abilities for your airship. But first of all, you see how far can your airships move. So they can move 3 spaces. And airships can move over water, they can move over rivers, they can move over other units. They're not considered to be in the same area. If there's mechs in an area, that doesn't affect anything if the mech's from someone else. In fact, you can even have multiple airships in the same hex. They're not really attacking each other, and they don't count for controlling that area at the end of the game. A mech can carry in it what this tile says, so they can carry up to 3 resources with it, which I guess you can stick in the ship like that. And sometimes, let's find one here, they allow you to carry workers. And so you can move workers around, which is a really convenient way to get workers across rivers and such. And then they give special abilities. So for example, here, your airship's territory has a tunnel, it becomes a mobile tunnel. Here, before you engage in combat, you can pay up to 1 to 3 resources to move 1 to 3 of your units from anywhere to here. So you can bring some units into a battle with your airship. This one here, if your airship's territory does not have opponents in it, you control it. So this is an exception to the rule, and your units may retreat here from anywhere, which is a pretty neat way. Or this attacking here. After combat on your airship's territory between any players, gain 1 for each worker on your airship, +1. So you have these workers, maybe you're carrying a worker so around, you can move them to where battles are going to be. In fact, it's interesting, you might not even be part of the battle. There might be some other people in the battle, and you get money from that. Here you can move people to and across lakes, which is handy. Here, when your workers produce resources, you get an extra resource. Here, when you bombard, you can pay 1 to 3 resources to reduce your opponent's power. So this is, some of these aggressive ones make the airships very mean in combat, from Blitzkrieg, which is one that I like here because your ships can fight other airships. So you can move them around and attack and do battles with those also. So this is one aspect of the game, adding these passive and aggressive abilities and airships into it, but that's not the only thing this expansion adds. The game also comes with resolution module. These are resolution tiles, and you're going to shuffle them and choose one at the beginning of the game. And normally the game will end when someone puts out their 6th star. But instead the game will end here. So here, the first player to have 5 or 6 stars on the triumph track will gain 5 points and complete their turn, and then each person gets 2 more turns. Then the factory explodes and everyone retreats into 6 areas next to the factory. Or something so simple like this. Just put a token here and everyone gets exactly 20 turns. Or here, this one's very similar to the original one. Everyone placed their 6th star on the triumph track. The game ends, then you'll calculate your final score, but only if the person who triggered the game has the highest score does the game end. Otherwise, everyone gets 1 more turn. Oh, some of them give extra things out here. This gives you money as you put your stars up there. You need at least 40 to end the game. This is Deja Vu. If someone ends the game, the first time all encounter tokens have been removed from the board, reset them. And then if you remove the final one and you have 6 stars. So you can have more encounters this way. And this one I really like too, where it puts out 2 more random objective tiles, objective cards that everybody can go after, not just, you have your own. These are ones that everyone can go, and you can put stars there. And King of the Hill and Land Rush and stuff. And if the rules say if you really like one, maybe you like that there's 20 turns, then you can always play with that one. For me personally, I would try to persuade people to play with Mission Possible because I like having objectives that everybody can go for. The game also comes with rules and achievement sheet if you want to keep track of who does different things. And then if you play solo, and I haven't done this at all, it has cards and things on how to deal with the airships with the automated opponent, computer opponent basically. Now don't get me wrong, I really like the airship models, but they almost feel excessive. They're humongous. And they're on the board, you're like, oh no, an enemy airship's coming, and then you're looking like, okay, they're not really that dangerous. They just look huge on the board. And maybe if you're playing with a giant board, they don't look so big, but they really dominate the board. People come over and be like, wow, what's going on here? I can't complain. They're really cool to have those. Airships are a nice addition to the game. They really don't add that many rules. There's 2 rules on, that you're going to learn, and you deal with those rules. And some rules you might like better than others. And like I said, I really think it's best if everyone uses the same rules for them, because you're already keeping track of how people's mechs move, which, by the way, the mech movement and airship movement doesn't really, mechs don't give their special abilities to airships. But these airships are just floating around. There's one thing that the airships really do, and it's that they open up movement of that game, almost to the point of making tunnels not quite so handy. But the airships can't carry the mechs or your leaders, so you still need to get these guys across the water somehow. So you still need water walking and all. But your workers, they're not really weighed down by that, especially if the airship can carry workers. If the airship can carry workers, that really changes the game up some, because they just carry them and they can float them across the water, drop them down, and you can start getting resources which normally your faction might not have access to quite as quickly. I like that, right? It gives that more maneuverability. And then the airships are going to help in battles, but they're just kind of floating around in the background, doing different tasks, maybe moving resources back and forth, getting resources away from an approaching army, or going in there and helping out with a battle. They're support, right? They're not like the main focus. They're just support, and being there is good. Actually, though, I like the other ways to end the game module maybe a little bit better. I like those alternatives. They're very minor. They're not changing the game over for the most part. Adding a couple more objective cards, or having you need a certain amount of money to get to the end of the game, and whenever you put a star out, you get money. That sort of thing is fine. It kind of gives you a difference, and in fact, I think I'll always play with these because they just give something unique and maybe a slight different end point to the game. That's really all that's in here is airships and the new endings to the game. But that's not bad. By the way, for me, everything fit in the box. I don't have one of those cool custom inserts. I hear that those you're not going to be able to fit the airships in the box, but for me, I was able to squish it all in. I like this expansion a lot. It's good. I don't know that I would consider it to be great, but it kind of works on my psyche some, because this expansion makes me want to play more Scythe. So to that end, the expansion works. Like my top 100 games, Scythe has just missed the cut. It's like in my top 120 or something like that. But now that I've been playing it more because of this expansion, Scythe just keeps moving up. It just keeps getting better and better for me. And this is expansion, I wouldn't say is necessary. I don't think you need it, but it makes me like the game more. I like the fact that there is, airships that provide, first of all, a really cool aesthetic and look to the game as they're flying around the place. But secondly, they open it up and make it a little bit more maneuverable to get around. That's good. They might add some support to battles. That's cool. The alternate endings. These are just they're like cool variants. That's what these are. These feel like they're variants that would be included at the end of a rule book that when you play them, you're like, yeah, why don't we just use these all the time? That's how these feel in this expansion. And that's good. I think I like this expansion better than the first one. The first one had new factions. That's great. More colors, more unique things, and they were cool factions. But this adds something for everybody. So I guess what I'm saying is if I play Scythe in the future, I should say, when I play Scythe in the future, I'm always going to play with these. I'm going to play with both of these. I'm going to play with the airships because it's not that hard to explain to people. You're already explaining a ton of rules for Scythe anyway. What's one more? Here's how airships work. And the alternate victory conditions. I'll probably play with those too, even when teaching new people the game. And so for that, this expansion works. I like it a lot, both visually, both what it adds to the game, and also for basically how subdued it is. It doesn't overtake the game. It's not like, well, your mechs are now worthless. We have airships. No. The mechs are still really an important part of the game, as are workers and your leader. The airships are there to help, but they do help. Dice Tower Judgment approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
We can't shut the door because it's locked.